Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start this lesson off by giving all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to all our brothers who are fervently pushing the word in sincerity and in faith, and Shalom to all the sincere believers. Now, this lesson is going to be based on the storm damage that was reported in Texas. So through the Spirit, I'm going to read this article, get some precepts, and the Lord's will you're edified. It says storm damage reported in Texas as millions face severe storms and deadly flooding. Today, multi-day severe weather and flash flood threat continued on Tuesday, with millions of people across Texas and Louisiana seeing strong to severe storms with damaging hail and life-threatening flooding. The risk comes as search and rescue crews continue to look for a 10-year-old girl who was swept away by floodwaters in central Texas. Forecasters with NOAA's Storm Prediction Center highlighted areas around Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin for seeing the worst of the weather. Outside of New Orleans, a severe warned storm dropped quarter to golf ball sized hail in New Iberia. Meteorologists said hail this large will injure people and animals, as well as damage cars and houses. Structural damage was reported outside of Waco, Texas, where several trees were down and roofs were damaged. And in rural North Texas, damage was reported to wind turbines and a nearby airport after a severe thunderstorm rolled through. According to meteorologists, most of the damage in the Lone Star State appeared to be straight-line winds and not associated with a tornado. The flooding threat was also heightened as powerful storms move across the southern plains and along the Gulf Coast, putting millions on alert for potentially life-threatening flash flooding. The highest flash flood threat will start by midday on Tuesday across portions of East Texas and Louisiana. Storms will continue to pummel the area overnight across Louisiana and along the Gulf Coast into Mississippi. The strongest storms and heaviest rain are expected along the Gulf Coast by Wednesday morning, eventually extending into the Florida Panhandle. Cities and towns from the southern plains to the southeast are expected to pick up a few inches of rain. However, the highest totals will be found from East Texas through Louisiana and into southern Mississippi and Alabama. Southern Louisiana and southern Mississippi could see 5 to 8 inches of rain, with some locally higher amounts. Yeah, and I looked it up, and that 10-year-old girl, they did find her. But she was, she was dead. Because they said that, I believe it was her and her sister were walking home, and the girl got swept away, and there was a guy who saw it happen, and he got in the water and tried to save her, but he couldn't get to her. And then I believe it was a police officer, also tried to get a hold of the girl, and I think he got a hold of her, but then he couldn't hold on to her, and she got swept away again. And then when they finally found her for like the third time, she was already dead. So yeah, this is what the Lord is doing out here, man. 10 years old, and this just proves, hey, anybody can get judged. A lot of people don't understand that. 2 Timothy 3:1, this know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. And that's right, and we are living in those last days. And when you look up the definition of perilous, it means full of danger or risk. And even in this article, it talked about risk. It says, the risk, of these, severe storms, damaging hail, life-threatening flooding. And that's how you know we're in these times. because times are becoming more dangerous. These storms and tempests and fires and earthquakes are becoming more intense, becoming more frequent, becoming more destructive and deadly. Isaiah 29:6, Thou shalt be visited of the Lord Yahweh of hosts with thunder, and with earthquake, and great noise, with storm and tempest, and a flame of devouring fire. And that's the time and season that we're in. We're in the time and season of the Lord visiting with lots of earthquakes, lots of storms and tempests, and lots of fires. Especially as the weather starts to get warmer, you're going to see a lot more hurricanes, tornadoes, wildfires, and just like thunderstorms in general. Isaiah 28:2, Behold, the Lord hath a mighty and strong one, which has a tempest of hail and a destroying storm, as a flood of mighty waters overflowing shall cast down to the earth with the hand. And that's exactly what the article was talking about. Hail, the destruction that comes with these storms, these strong winds, all the rain that causes flooding, mainly due to poor drainage. Because if all that rain has nowhere to go, then yeah, it's gonna build up. And then, streets get flooded, people's homes get flooded, people's cars get flooded, highways have to get shut down. Just causes a lot of chaos. Psalms 83:14, As the fire burneth a wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. Verse 15, So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. And that's exactly what the Lord is doing. Dishing out these hurricanes, tornadoes, lightning storms, torrential rainstorms, hail storms. The Lord is persecuting them with his tempest and making them afraid with his storm. And that judgment upon that 10-year-old girl is yet another reminder of why you were supposed to fear the Lord. Hebrews 10:31, It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. And that's right. It is a fearful and scary thing to fall into the hands of the Lord. Like that one lesson that I did, I believe it was yesterday, about that lightning strike on those people's house, resulting in 3 people being injured. And then this 10-year-old girl gets swept away by these flood waters. The Lord is constantly giving you examples as to why you should fear him. But majority of people aren't even paying attention. They don't take anything seriously. Proverbs 22:3, A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. And that's right. Those of us of the hopeful elect, we're the prudent, we're the wise through the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. We're the ones who are able to foresee the evil and hide ourselves. But these simple-minded people who don't take anything seriously, who don't watch the news, who aren't paying attention, they're the ones that pass on and end up getting punished. They're the ones that get caught up in these judgments. And best believe there's going to be a lot more people that are going to get hurt, even killed, in these last days via the judgments of the Lord. And that's just the Lord's vengeance being brought upon these wicked people. And like it says in Romans 2:11, there is no respect of persons with Yahweh. So more men, women, and children are going to get put down. But with that, I'm going to wrap it up here. Closing, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. The Wadi Ba'ashem Yahushai for putting the spirit on me to do this lesson. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to all the brothers who are still fervently pushing the word in sincerity and in faith. And shalom to all the sincere believers. Hope you stay strong, stay safe, stay fervent, stay circumspect, stay prayed up, and Adawan Ratazah. Till next time, shalom.